Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting, titillating, orgasmic edition of Radical Rockin' Record Reviews. And I'm your host, Wild Ride bassist Mick Watkins, otherwise known as Dick Twikins. And today, guys, is going to be the inclusion, the final episode in my 5-part series known as Decades. And today, guys, we're going to talk about my favorite hard rock heavy metal album of each year of the 2010s. Yeah, we're finally here, the conclusion of Decades. So let's get right down to it. The year 2010, 11 years ago. My favorite album of 2010, all right? To me, this was easy. There was a lot of killer releases in 2010. I mean, you had the debut album of one of my favorite modern rock metal bands, Ghost. You had the mighty Opus Eponymous from Ghost. What's some other killer releases? I remember you had Crocus put out Hoodoo. Hoodoo was pretty cool. You had Ozzy Osbourne, Scream. I know a lot of people don't really like Ozzy Osbourne's Scream, but I think it's a pretty fantastic album. I love it. But throughout all that and the rest of the shit, my favorite album of 2010 easily was an album that I've been waiting for years. And this band delivered big time. And in my opinion, released one of their best albums. Definitely top 3 or 4 albums in this whole band's discography. Got to go with my favorite album of the year 2010. Stephen Pearcy, Warren DeMartini, Carlos Cavazo, Robbie Crane, Bobby Blotzer, Rat and Roll, baby, as Rat came just charging back with this great return to form album. Bam! My favorite album of 2010, Rat Infestation. Dude, such a fine album right here. Opens up with the take me, eat me up alive. Let me feel your energy till you're deep inside. Take me if you wanna try. Eat me up alive. Eat me up alive is badass. Sounds like a modern version of You're in Love. You got Best of Me, which was the first single off this great album. This modern classic of an album. My gosh. Best of Me. A little too much, can't help myself. A little too much, and there's nobody else. All kind of Last Call. Lost Weekend, As Good as It Gets, Garden of Eden, Take a Big Bite. Just all kinds of good, killer fucking songs. The final track, Don't Let Go, was great. Man, as you can see on the back of the CD, the song titles are kind of hard to read. But dude, nonetheless, this was such a great return to form album for Rat, man. I'm telling you, and being like the beginning of the decade, 2010, I really thought, I was like, Rat's got Stephen Pearcy back. They got Carlos Cavazo filling in for Robin Crosby. 2010 is going to be a new decade for Rat and Roll, and Rat's going to dominate. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and I think maybe 4 or 5, 6 months later, after the release of Infestation, Stephen Pearcy once again left the band. Dude, my heart was broken, shattered, dude. I remember Rat went out on the Infestation tour with Scorpions. I didn't get to see it, man, but I wish I could have. Because this lineup, besides the original lineup, with Juan Crucier on bass and Robin Crosby on rhythm, lead guitar, I think this is the best version that Rat ever had. But yeah, so Stephen Pearcy left Rat 4 to 6 months after this album was released. And then, from then on, the rest of the decade in the 2010s, just like an up and down thing of Bobby Blotzer's fake Rat, lawsuits, Stephen Pearcy coming back, just all kinds of different things. And now we have Rat in the shape that they're in now with Stephen Pearcy and Juan Crucier, Jordan Ziff, and Pete Holmes. And they just recently got some newer dude on rhythm, lead guitar. Can't remember his name. But anyway, such a shame that Rat couldn't have held it together. In the 2010s, dude, Rat should have released 3 or 4 more albums with this. And to quote my buddy Edwin Canastrasi, this kind of pageantry. Rat Infestation fucking rules. one of the band's best albums, right up there, in my opinion, with Out of the Cellar, Invasion of Your Privacy, the Rat EP, and Dancing Undercover, dude. Take Me Home's a good song, just all kinds of good shit. Garden of Eden, excellent. If you've never heard this album right here, get it, dude, get it. You have to have this. One of the greatest hard rock heavy metal albums of the 2010s, in my opinion. So that was my pick for my favorite rock metal album of the year 2010. So let's get into 2011. The 2011. Now on this list, all right, you're going to see, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you're going to see two bands. There are two bands in this decade that just dominated for me. Pretty much every time one of these bands released an album, it was my album of the year. These two bands just dominated and slayed so much ass. And here's the first album on the list from one of those artists. You see my t-shirt, right? Still Panther. You got Stick Zidane on drums, Michael Starr on lead vocals, Satchel on guitar, Lexi Fox on bass. Dude, Still Panther in 2011 released the mighty, godly album. And I will say, in all honesty, one of my favorite albums of all time. I think it's this band's best album, and quite honestly, this is my pick for the best album of the whole damn decade of the 2010s. My favorite album of 2011, Still Panther, balls out, baby. Balls out, dude. To me, this album, you could put it right up against Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. You could put it right next to Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil as one of the most badass albums of all time. I mean, God, Supersonic Sex Machine, Supersonic Sex Machine. Just like Tiger Woods, I fucked 17 girls in the grocery store. 10 of them gave me head. Oh, dude. 17 girls in a row. 17 girls. I put my thing in every hole. Dude, if you really, 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 really love me, don't whine when I put it in your booty. Or if I'm up all night playing Call of Duty. It won't suck itself tomorrow night. Why can't you trust me, baby? That's what girls are for. One of my favorite tracks of this album. GOLDDIGGINGWHORE. Gold Diggin' Whore. Oh, man. Such a great fucking song. I love this album. I Like Drugs, Critter. Let me come in, let me come in, let me come in, you're out tonight. And the classic, one of the greatest power ballads of all time. Weenie, 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 weenie ride. It's a weenie ride. Weenie, 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 weenie ride. Come spread your thighs. Excellent album. Yes, I did say it. My favorite rock metal album of the 2010s. Still Panther, balls out. And it's really a shame because a lot of people don't take this band serious. They think, oh, well, they're a parody band. Still Panther's not a real band. They're just a parody band. Dude, there's a parody band is whenever, like, a Weird Al Yankovic, you know, when somebody like Weird Al Yankovic takes somebody's songs and then writes parodies of them. Dude, Still Panther's always written their own shit. They always have their own songs. And, dude, I'm telling you, one of the greatest bands going. They are a legitimate band, and this is a legitimate album. And I'm telling you, if people would just get over the silly, sophomoric, perverted lyrics and shit, they would realize that these guys are some of the best songwriters to come along in the genre in decades, dude. Satchel, fucking amazing guitar player. Sticks it in you. Lexi Fox, who sadly is not in the band anymore. That was a real kind of tearjerker for me right there. Michael Starr, dude. Michael Starr, an excellent vocalist, dude. Still Panther, balls out. Love it. Love it. Gonna catch her at the whiskey bar, sucking George Clooney's cock. My favorite album of 2011, Still Panther, balls out. All right. So now let's get into my favorite album of 2012. If you know me like you think you know me, you probably know what my favorite album of 2012 was. It came down to 2 albums. Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen, David Lee Roth, Alex Van Halen, Wolfgang Van Halen. Van Halen got back together with Diamond Dave the way it always should have been. And Van Halen released the mighty A Different Kind of Truth, an excellent album, and unfortunately what turned out to be the last Van Halen album. So it was between Van Halen, A Different Kind of Truth, and this bad boy. I think you know it. I think you know what I'm going to pick. My favorite album of 2012, and so far, and more than likely, also this band's last studio effort. A lot of people fucking shit on this album. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people don't like it because it's from Scab Kiss. Scab Kiss. And like I've said before, I don't like the makeup issue of Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer wearing the Ace Frehley and Peter Criss makeup. But nonetheless, if you get over the makeup issue and you get over that, then you can't deny that my favorite album of 2012, Kiss Monster, is an excellent hard rock album. Dude, fucking killer, dude. In all honesty, everybody always jocks the dick of Revenge, saying Revenge. I think Monster blows Revenge away. I think Monster knocks Revenge's dick in the dirt. I think, quite honestly, I know this might be a little controversial, but sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I think Monster is a better album than Love Gun. I'm not saying it is, but sometimes when I listen to it, I'm like, my God, dude, Kiss was on fire on this album, dude. You got Hell or Hallelujah, Wall of Sound, Freak, Back to the Stone Age, Shout Mercy, Long Way Down, Eat Your Heart Out, baby, The Devil Is Me, Out of This World, For the Love of Rock and Roll, Take Me Down Below, oh, Take Me Down Below, and Last Chance, man. If any hardcore Kiss fan says they don't like this, but then they like albums like Revenge or Creatures of the Night or Asylum, I don't get it, dude. They need to listen with their ears and not with their eyes, because Monster kicks ass, dude. You got Gene Simmons singing the best he had in years. You got some of Gene Simmons' best bass playing of the whole Kiss career. Eric Singer's killing it on the drums, even does a great vocal on All for the Love of Rock and Roll. Tommy Thayer even kills it on Out of This World Tonight. And when Sonic Boom came out, everybody was like, oh, Tommy Thayer's just cutting and pasting Ace Frehley solos. They bitched about that. Well, on this album, dude, Tommy Thayer is his own man. Kind of like a mixture of like Ace Frehley, Jimmy Page, and Ronnie Montrose. Tommy Thayer, whether you like him or not, kicks some killer ass on lead guitar on this album. And Paul Stanley, even with his deteriorating vocals, still delivers a really pretty fucking killer raspy vocal on all this. Hell or Hallelujah, Freak. I think Freak's an excellent song. Should have been the first single with a badass music video, which I got a concept of, Freak should have been the campaign for this. It would have been perfect. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite album of the year 2012, easily. Even though Van Halen, A Different Kind of Truth, was pretty badass and is pretty badass, gotta give it up to what's probably more than likely the final Kiss album, Kiss Monster. It's just killer. It's killer stuff, guys. Love it, love it. Never really understood the hate for Monster. I don't know. Once again, I think people were listening with their eyes and not their ears. Favorite album of 2013. Now, earlier I talked about how this decade was dominated by 2 bands. One of them being Steel Panther, and the other one being one of my favorite modern rock bands. One of the best bands going nowadays. Gotta go with my favorite album of 2013, easily. 2013, you had some good shit. I remember Rob Zombie, Rat Regeneration Vendor came out. Black Sabbath 13 came out, which Black Sabbath 13 is kind of, Megadeth released a Super Collider. And I liked that album a lot, actually. A lot of fans didn't really care for Megadeth Super Collider. I thought it was pretty damn good. But nonetheless, My favorite album of 2013, easily. Ghost. Second album, Infesta Sumum. Man, I remember when I first heard this album. I remember I got it. I remember I went to Best Buy on release date of this album, and I bought this and Opus Eponymous. And that's when I started my fanfare for Ghost, my love of Ghost. And I just remember listening to this album, man, and thinking, looking through the booklet, the CD booklet, and reading the lyrics and just looking at the artwork on the inside, man, it was so fucking evil, dude. We hadn't seen something like this in a long time, man, and something about it just made me feel wrong listening to it. Almost like the first time you listen to, like, Merciful Fate or some shit, But nonetheless, dude, I love it. Got Circular Haze. Circular Haze was the first video I seen of Ghost on YouTube. And man, as soon as I saw that video and heard that song, I was like, dude, this sounds like fucking like Alice Cooper, Blue Oyster Cult kind of mix. A little bit of Uriah Heep in there. I was like, this band is amazing. Circular Haze, Gigolo Harmageddon, another great song. Goulet, Zombie Queen. It's got some awesome kind of piano stuff, and then at the last section of the song, it gets into like a little kind of Alice Cooper style, kind of surf rock song. So cool, man. Body and Blood, Idolatrine, Monstrous Clock. Oh, man. Which, if you've seen Ghost live, Papa Emeritus always goes, this is our final song, and it's about the female orgasm. So tonight when all of you go home, you need to make each other orgasm. He says awesome, crazy shit about that during Monstrous Clock. But yeah, Ghost, dude. Just gonna let the cat out of the bag right here. In the 2010s, Ghost and Steel Panther fucking rolled for me, dude. Two excellent newer bands that I absolutely love. I've seen Ghost 4 times now. They never disappoint in concert. Such great album. In all honesty, though, I gotta say, studio album wise, this is probably my least favorite Ghost album. But that being said, it's still pretty fucking killer. So that's my favorite album of 2013 right there. Gotta adjust my camera. There we go. Okay. Alright, so now we're going into 2014. Once again, my favorite album of 2014. You get some good shit come out in 2014, man. I remember you had Ace Frehley, Space Invader, Judas Priest, Redeemer of Souls, AC/DC, Rock or Bust, Winger, Better Days Coming. All kinds of cool stuff came out that year. But no other album ruled 2014 like this one for me. Steel Panther, All You Can Eat. Man, while I have to say that Balls Out is my favorite Steel Panther album, All You Can Eat is my second favorite album. I just think that those two albums go together and are both fucking masterpieces, dude. I mean, Pussy Whipped is a great song. Party Like Tomorrow is the End of the World. Glory Hole. I don't wanna know who's sucking my dick today. I'm going to the glory hole. Gonna spend my weekly pay. Man, Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home. Oh my God. Delivering pizza on a Saturday night. I was cranking Van Halen and looking tight. Bukkake Tears. Come on, who could not love Bukkake Tears, man? 10 Strikes, You're Out. The Burden of Being Wonderful. Excellent track. You're Fucking My Heart in the Ass. BVS, Big Vagina Syndrome. A song that I really love that never gets any kind of credit or anything. You're Beautiful When You Don't Talk. Such a cool kind of ballad song. If I Was the King and She's on the Rag. Excellent release. Excellent release. My second favorite Steel Panther album, and my favorite album of the year 2014, Steel Panther, All You Can Eat, baby. All you can eat, baby. All right, 2015, my favorite album of the year 2015. Now, I remember this year had some really good shit, some really good stuff. I remember, God, what was that, 2015? Yeah, Enforcer. Enforcer releases the mighty From Beyond. As a matter of fact, did this come out that year? Yeah. Night Demon. The mighty Night Demon releases Curse of the Damned. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Marilyn Manson comes back. with what the fuck's that album called? The Peller Emperor. The Peller Emperor comes back, but only one album can rule. And, well, gotta go with another one. Bam! The third album from Ghost. Meliora, dude. And this was the album that really put Ghost on the map here in the U.S., dude. I remember when this album came out, it was huge, man. The song Cerise was all over the radio, all over the internet. Dude, from the pinnacle to the pit, he is the greatest love song to Satan ever. Fucking he is. I love it. Mommy Dust, Majesty, Dulce in Absentia, Absolution. First time I seen Ghost was in a club here in Louisville called the Mercury Ballroom, man. And I seen Ghost. I was right up front. Maybe there's not any seating in the Mercury Ballroom, but if there was seating, I was probably maybe about 5 or 6 rows back from the stage. Blew my freaking mind, dude. First time I seen Ghost was on this tour, the Meliora tour. Amazing stuff, dude. And this album, to me, is just, it's a modern classic, man. I mean, like I said earlier, just like you take the best of Alice Cooper and you take the best of B.O.C., you take the best of Uriah Heep, you even take the best of Kiss, and you mix it all together and you have Ghost, dude. Such a great, awesome killer band that I'm thankful to have in the 2010s and now into the 2020s. But yeah, Meliora, lots of people say that this is the best Ghost album, and man, it's kind of hard to argue, isn't it? Very hard to argue. Such a great album. My favorite album of the year, 2015. Told you Steel Panther and Ghost are going to rule the decade. All right, my favorite album of 2016. Now, this band coming back. Now, you had their past 2 previous releases. Okay, Metallica. Metallica released the horrible, steaming pile of dog shit, Saint Anger, in the year 2003. Was it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 5 years later, Metallica comes roaring back with Death Magnetic. Okay, and me and my friends, we were all like, yes, Metallica's getting there. They're getting there. They're finally getting back to being like a heavy metal band, thrash band. But Death Magnetic wasn't quite there. To me, Death Magnetic, something about that album seemed kind of forced. It's like, okay, this is what everybody wants us to be. Everybody wants us to get back to that Master of Puppets and Justice for All style. So it kind of sounded like Metallica. They were just kind of people pleasing. They were people pleasing. But then when Metallica released their next album, my favorite album of 2016, easily, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. When Metallica released this bad boy, you know what? They put all things aside. They were like, you know what? We're dudes in our, at the time, maybe late 40s, early 50s. We're not going to pretend that we're the same Metallica that made Master of Puppets. We're not going to pretend that we are the same band that released Injustice for All. Let's just go into the studio and craft an album of who we are today. And that's what Metallica did on Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And I gotta say, man, if you've watched my ranking of Metallica video, this is easily my favorite Metallica album since Master of Puppets, dude. I love it. I love it. If you ask me what this album, like, Nick, I've never heard Hardwired to Self-Destruct. What is it like? Well, if you take the best parts of the Black Album, and then you take the best parts of Load, mix them together, that's what you get with Hardwired Self-Destruct. Such a great album, dude. Hardwired, the title track, Atlas Rise. Now that we're dead, my dear. Now that we're dead, moth into flame, a moth into the flame. Am I Savage? My favorite track on the album, and one of my favorite Metallica songs of all time. Halo on fire. Confusion. Dream no more, man unkind. Here comes revenge. Murder One. The only song on this album I really don't care for is a tribute to Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead. And, if anything, they should have took the next song, Spit Out the Bone, which is an amazing song. They should have took Spit Out the Bone and made that Murder One, because it's got more of a feel for Motorhead, It would have been a better tribute. But yeah, nonetheless, I love this album. I have from day one. My favorite Metallica album, controversially, since Master of Puppets. I just really, really dig this album, man. And supposedly, Metallica's been in the studio over the whole COVID outbreak and the quarantine and shit. And supposedly, they are crafting their next album. Man, I hope and pray that it's as good as Hardwired Self-Destruct. Because this, talk about modern masterpieces, no doubt about it. It's a modern masterpiece. And I see Metallica on this tour, and man, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Metallica is not overrated. Metallica does not suck. The biggest heavy metal band on the fucking planet, and rightfully so, dude. Metallica rules, and so does Hardwired to Self-Destruct. That's my favorite album of 2016. And and that wasn't that year you had Ace Frehley, Origins Volume 1. No, Cheap Trick released Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. Ghost released the Pope Star EP. Lots of really good stuff came out that year in 2016. But dude, had to have been this. Airborne released my favorite album of theirs, Breaking Out of Hell. But it had to have been this. So yeah, 2016, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. All right. So now you're going into my favorite album of 2017. Here you go. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? This was a tough one. Toss up between this. I know Alice Cooper released Paranormal that year. A really excellent album. I know Night Demon released Darkness Remains. All kinds of good stuff that year. Stephen Pearcy put out his really awesome solo album Smash. But in the end of the day, I had to go with this. Still Panther, lower the bar, baby. Telling you, Still Panther, ruling the decade, dude. Throw it all out. Still Panther fucking rules. And I know a lot of people say that on this album, Still Panther did lower the bar. And this album wasn't as good as their previous three. But I disagree. Honestly, to me, I know a lot of people say that Balls Out is the best. Or not Balls Out, excuse me. Feel the Still is the best Still Panther album. Gotta disagree. I think Lower the Bar is better than Feel the Still. This is my third favorite Still Panther album. I love this album. Just to me, this was them kind of going in a kind of a different direction, really, There are lots of songs on this album that kind of remind me of like early 90s kind of grunge, Still Panther got a little dark on this album, with Now the Fun Starts, Pussy Ain't Free, Wasted Too Much Time. This was the first release where it showed a little Still Panther kind of reaching out there and doing something a little differently creative. But it's got Going Out the Back Door. Anything Goes is awesome. The classic. The song me and my buddy John Bon Jovi, Joey Dildoey, Joseph Barnes love. Poontang Boomerang. Thought about going gay, but a boomerang wang. Whatever he says, I don't know, but that shit's good. That's when you came in. That's when you came in and blew me. That's when you came in and blew me away. Wrong Side of the Tracks on Beverly Hills, Now the Fun Starts, and a great cover of the Cheap Trick classic, She's Tight. I honestly think Still Panther's cover of She's Tight is better than the Cheap Trick one. And then you got I Got What You Want. I got what you want, baby. 5.5 inches of love. Such a great album, dude. This is a really good one. A lot of Still Panther fans don't like this, and I've never understood it. I think it's pretty freaking killer. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So that was my favorite album of 2017. Now we're getting in to 2018. And this one was a really tough one. Had to go with either Ghost Prequel. Ghost Prequel came out. Amazing. Amazing follow-up to Meliora. But you got Ghost Prequel, or you got this album, dude. And quite honestly, this band came out, and in the time, there was a lot of turmoil in the band. Glenn Tipton gets diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Through all this shit, all the battles, losing KK down and getting Richie Faulkner in the band. Glenn Tipton, one of the greatest heavy metal guitar players of all time. One of the probably one of the biggest songwriters in the band, getting Parkinson's and have to be sidelined. Somehow, Rob Halford, Richie Faulkner, Glenn Tipton, Ian Hill, and Scott Travis, the mighty kings of heavy metal, the greatest heavy metal band, in my opinion, of all time. Somehow, Judas Priest said, you know what, fuck it. We're going to release one of the best albums in our whole discography, and one of our best albums of all time. My favorite album of 2018, and my second favorite album of the whole damn decade, Judas Priest. Firepower! Petrify! Firepower! Judas Priest, firepower, baby. Man, perfection. This album is fucking heavy metal. Perfection, dude. Waiting for lightning to strike. Evil never dies. Evil never dies. Evil never dies. Never the heroes. We were just sacrificed for war. Necromancer. Death is guiding light. Necromancer. Stealing from the light. Necromancer. Children of the sun. Dying one by one. Guardians rising from ruins. Rising from ruins. Flamethrower. Flamethrower. Spectre. Man, Spectre's a good song. Almost like a follow-up, this sequel to The Ripper. Such a good song. Traitor's Gate. Excellent. The Glenn Tipton tribute. No Surrender. Man, No Surrender. Dude, with this album, dude, you know, like I've got like quite a few friends of mine that like over the years, they kind of gave up on Priest and stuff, you know. But then when they heard No Surrender, they were like, no way, dude. Fucking Judas Priest is back. Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf almost kind of sounds like Judas Priest doing Black Sabbath. Crazy shit. And Sea of Red. The Sea of Red. Excellent album. In my opinion, one of Judas Priest's best albums of all time. My favorite album of the year 2018. My God, this album is godly. A modern masterpiece. Got the cool gatefold. I couldn't, you know, and as you see in the back on the wall, I proudly hang my Judas Priest Firepower poster. What can I say? This album rules, dude. Favorite album of 2018, and if you've never heard it, that's your loss. You got to pick it up. Get on vinyl. It's badass. All right. And that brings us to the final year of the decade of the 2010s, guys. This decade series has been lots of fun. We went through the 70s. We went through the 80s, went through the 90s, the 2000s, and now we are in the final year of the 2010s. And I gotta say, my favorite album of that year, and this was an easy one for me. Now, this band I discovered in 2018 on the Rock and Metal Combat podcast page, all right? Somebody posted the link to an album called Burst Into Flame by the band Haunt. And just like on the little video link, I seen the logo of the band, I seen the artwork, and I was like, holy shit, dude, this looks like something you would see in like an 80s graphic novel, or on the cover of an 80s Atari video game, or a science fiction comic book. The logo and the artwork just captured my imagination. It's everything I love about heavy metal and hard rock. And I clicked on that link, and it did not disappoint me. And from that point on, I fell in love with Haunt. My boy Trevor William Church. Trevor William Church has went on to be a really good friend of mine online. He's a really good dude, and he is the hardest working dude in heavy metal today, man. The first Haunt release was in 2018, I think. Since then, they've put out 8 releases. 8 releases. They put out, well, 1 release this year, A Beautiful Distraction. But my favorite album of 2019, easily, Haunt's second full-length studio album, If Icarus Could Fly. Man, this album, quite possibly, it's a tough one, probably my favorite Haunt album. I mean, it's got Run and Hide, It's in My Hands, Cosmic Kiss, Ghosts, Clarion, Winds of Destiny, If Icarus Can Fly, and Defender. If you've never heard of Haunt, if you've been sleeping on Haunt, you got to check this band out. To me, my favorite modern heavy metal band going nowadays. Absolutely love this album. Trevor's a good dude. He's a great songwriter. He's a good friend. He's a cool guy. Love it, dude. Love it. Pick up all the Haunt releases. Go to their website, www.bandcamp.haunthenation.com, and delve into the greatness and the pageantry that is Haunt. I mean, if you ask me, like, Mick, what does Haunt sound like? You take Angel Witch, Paul Di'Anno era Iron Maiden, take a little Blue Oyster Cult, maybe take a little Ghost, rub it all in there and mix it all up. Then you get Haunt. Such an epic album. Easily my favorite album of 2019. So yeah, guys, that wraps up the 2010s decade, guys. So let's recap. My favorite album of 2019, Haunt, If Icarus Could Fly. My favorite album of 2018, Judas Priest, Firepower. Favorite album of 2017, Steel Panther, Lower the Bar. 2016, Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. 2015, Ghost, Meliora. 2015, 2014, Steel Panther, All You Can Eat. 2013, Ghost, Infestation. 2012, Kiss, Monster. Yeah, dude, good shit. 2011, Steel Panther, Balls Out. And 2020, can't believe this album's 11 years old now, Rat Infestation. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me through this journey, through the decades of hard rock and heavy metal. And you know, I hear this a lot nowadays. Hear lots of people say, oh, fucking rock's dead, heavy metal's dead, music isn't as good as it used to be. Well, you take a look at all those albums that were on my list right there, and all those were released in the last decade. Dude, hard rock and metal does not get the mainstream support that it used to, okay? We all know that. We all know that. You get spoon-fed a bunch of mumble rap bullshit, bunch of teeny bopper pop crap, Nicki Minaj garbage, whatever, Florida Georgia Line crap country. If you just, not rely on the mainstream to supply you with good music, just get on YouTube, your greatest resource. Get on YouTube and just, look up the band Haunt. Look up Haunt, If Icarus Could Fly. And from there, look at all the bands that are linked to it. Go to the New Wave of Traditional Heavy Metal Full Albums page. And just dig, dude. It's like being, back when you're a kid and a teenager and you went to the record store and you flipped through and you just saw something that had a cool looking album cover and you took the chance and you bought it. Remember those days? I do. But nowadays, you just go online and go on YouTube. Granted, it's not as much fun, but you can still go on there and just look for an album cover, a band's name, song titles that tickle your fancy, and just go for it. And if you like it, go on and buy you a physical copy, buy you a CD, a cassette tape, or a record. Heavy metal and hard rock is alive and well in 2021. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by all the naysayers. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode, the conclusion of decades. I had a great time doing this. I know a lot of you all have just really fucking enjoyed this. I think it's some of the most successful episodes that I've had here on Radical Rock and Record Reviews. So if you like this video, if you like my videos in the past, hit the subscription button, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down button. Either one's cool, whatever you want to do. Write me, give me your favorite album of each year of the decades, and just talk to me, man. Let me know how you feel about all this cool stuff. What's your thoughts? Do you think Kiss Monster sucks? Let me know in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Check out my band Wild Ride. WYLDRYDE on Facebook, official Wild Ride on Instagram, www.bandcamp.wildride or www.wildride.bandcamp.com. Pick you up a Wild Ride t-shirt, pick you up a Wild Ride patch for your cool denim and leather vest. Get you a Wild Ride CD of City Streets, our debut EP. Get you a cool Wild Ride sticker, a trucker hat. We got it all, baby, except for lunch boxes and action figures. But don't worry, that shit's coming soon. So, guys, I want to thank you all, love you all. And until next time, keep rocking and rolling, baby.